Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82, with our ongoing 31 Days of Horror, day number 16. This wasn't initially on my radar, but then boom, just happened to be looking at my shelf, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta throw that on the heap. And that is, let's go back to 1957 for the second entry into the Quatermass trilogy, and my favorite of the trilogy. Quatermass 2, again, from 1957, and from Val Guest, who did the first two Quatermass experiment, Quatermass 2, from the genius mind of Nigel Neal. Man, this is a new discovery for me of late. Was really not familiar with the Quatermass trilogy, although, with Prince of Darkness being one of my favorite Carpenter films, he writes under the pseudonym of Quatermass. And that always lingered in the back of my mind, in terms of what is Quatermass? What is all that about? And I stumbled upon a podcast, occult symbolism and popular culture, Isaac Weishaupt, and listened to his pod on occult symbolism found in Prince of Darkness. Anyways, he gets into a little bit of a conversation of Quatermass and why Carpenter wrote under that pseudonym. And so that sucked me in. And I finally, man, again, I don't know, it was Christmas or something, had some extra money, just grabbed up the trilogy as I found them. Quatermass Experiment on Blue, then this Quatermass 2, which is the first time that you see a 2 after the title, which is interesting. Then Quatermass in the Pit came a little bit later. But anyways, this runs 1 hour and 25 minutes. You can find this, thankfully, on Plex Tubi. You can still pick up the Blue for about 22. This is definitely something you ought to explore and discover. And this one is my favorite of the trilogy. I don't know. It's just, man, it's got that aesthetic about it, man. Gotta love Quatermass, man, the character. I don't know. It's just got that early, sort of early look at what is going to make the sequel run of the 80s what it was, I think. It's just bigger in scope than the first film, and the conspiracy is just incredible. Well, let's look at this real quick, man. Quatermass 2 is the second and most talked about of the 3 science fiction stories written by Nigel Neal, based on the critically acclaimed 1953 BBC series. Professor Quatermass, played by Hollywood veteran Brian Donlevy, reprising his role from the Quatermass experiment as Britain's most clever scientist. Kind of like like our modern equivalent, like Elon Musk, I guess, sort of kind of guy, investigating a series of bizarre incidents that have been reported from a deserted area. He finds a group of soldiers and government officials that appear to be controlled by aliens from another world. When a close friend is brutally murdered by these beings, Quatermass leads a mob of local workers, so it's so great, to a showdown with the extraterrestrials. The film was retitled Enemy from Space for a U.S. theatrical release. And I must say, if you got the Quatermass Experiment on Blue, is a great interview with John Carpenter in terms of why, where the influences lie, which is really, 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 really great. This is one of those that I've bought recently. It's recently coming into my viewing experience. But this has quickly elevated itself into a go-to for me. A lot of times I just need something to fall asleep to, something I can rest my eyes on, as I probably have a podcast running in the background. And this is one for sure. It is now suddenly a go-to, just like The Thing from Another World or The Old Dark House from that 33. Is it 32? James Whale. Movies like that, man. This, if you don't know anything outside of like I did with Carpenter's writing under the pseudonym, you really need to check it out, man. Quatermass 2 is my go-to for the October heap, as always, when these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.
We might be useful to